For all your t-shirt needs, check out TeePublic's Killer Selection. Follow the link in the description.
And we have Dean Cundy, the cinematographer. We have Tommy Lee Wallace, who is pretty much everything else. He was the Lucky Guys, the Editors, the Michael Myers. We have one of our bullies, Mickey Allen, is here with us. We have Michael Myers. Guys, come on up. We don't have enough mics for everybody, so I just want to remind you guys, just when I call them, you just get the mic as close to your mouth as possible. Oh, where's DJ? DJ Souls is here! He's coming here! Yeah, I think we have some more coming. I think they're doing a photo op, but we want to get started. We have a lot of crew here, so we figured let's get started with them since the movie really didn't start with them. Erwin, where are you? Erwin, talk about the genesis of the Babysitter Murders. And thanks for changing the title, by the way. I don't think the Babysitter's Murders for the Revenge of Michael Myers would have been very nice on a marquee. So.
How about that? I want to start by filling up, it's been 40 years and a lot of misconceptions about what really happened, and that's easily understood after 40 years, but I want to start with Halloween and the Babysitter Murders and a combination of things. The idea to make a movie called Halloween came to me as a result of a movie called Assault on Precinct 13, which was made by a very man named John Carpenter. I distributed that movie and took it to London where it received the first prize at the London Film Festival. So I knew I had to make a movie with John. And I racked my brain. One night on the airplane coming back from Italy, I thought about making a horror film because it would be a marketable movie. And I wanted to make it in one night because it could control the budget. And boom, Halloween popped into my head. I thought that Halloween had been done before. It turned out it never had been. Nor had the name ever been used in a movie before. That's quite amazing. And then I thought, yeah, let's terrorize some kids on how babysitters. Everybody's been a babysitter or had a babysitter or was a baby, So I thought that would be a good comment on it. So the point I would make here is that the two ideas were synonymous at the same time. Well, I got off the plane, I ran home, I told my wife what I thought about it, and she said, oh, that's exciting. Call John Carpenter right now. It was late, it was about 9:10 o'clock in the evening. I got John on the phone, I described what I wanted to do. He got it instantly. He got very excited. I said, let's meet the next morning, let's talk about this. We met the next morning, and as he said, I don't remember this, but he said, over a tuna fish sandwich, we discussed how to make the movie. And I said, I wanted this to be Hitchcockian. I wanted it to be more like, I used the examples of Exorcist and Psycho because each of those films showed very little. It was all imagination. It was called theater of the mind because when I was a kid at radio, we didn't even have television. He understood it perfectly. John just agreed with everything we talked about. He was so excited. Although in those days, I think he would have made a movie about his microphone. He was hungry on film. And then he said, I want my name above the title. I thought it was so audacious. He made one movie and now he wanted to live with it. I said, can you do this movie for $300,000? He said, yeah, I can do that. I said, well, you can have your name above the title, you can do anything you want. That's how it all started.
And so then John roped in some of his cohorts, Dean, Nick, Tommy. Talk about when John, we have more coming. We have more. Talk about that name showed us as well. Talk about when John and Deborah first approached you guys with this idea. Did they already have a script written, or you guys brought it even before that point?
Well, I had done probably about a dozen So I had done about a dozen low-budget driving theater movies, and there's been a script supervisor on the show. Her name was Deborah Hill, and I worked with her on about 4 different movies. She always impressed me because not only was she taking notes and stuff that the script supervisor was, every now and then she'd come up and say, you know, it seems to me like, and some story point or whatever. So she was obviously more interested in film than just the job. And then one day I got a phone call from Deborah, and she said, you know, there's this guy, and we're going to make this movie, and his name is John Carpenter. I think you guys would make a good team. Why don't you meet him? And so I did. And apparently they thought it was okay to hire me. So I worked on the movie.
Hello, anybody here? Well, as some of you probably already know, John and I go back to childhood together. Same grade school, played the orchestra, the whole deal, and we got very close as teenagers. No, not with John. Actually, yeah, sort of. Anyway, we played music together, and that was really the basis of our friendship, was making music and loving the Beatles and stuff like that. And then John, who knew what he wanted to do, film directing since age 9. I didn't even know what a film director was, or that such a thing existed, but he was highly motivated, and when it came time to go off to find a film school, it was about halfway through his college experience in our local town. Is there any other kind of town? Bowling Green, Kentucky. Anyway, I helped him. I took him up to the college library. They had this big blue book of colleges. He focused on New York University, Florida, Cinema School at the University of Florida, and USC. And USC won out, and he headed off. And then after I graduated from art school in Ohio, I headed out west to join up with him. And so Halloween was his 3rd feature. The first one was kind of a student film that got out of control. The second one was a legitimate feature with a schedule and a budget, 35 millimeter. We really thought we were grown-ups at that point. And Irwin was involved completely in Assault and thought of the title. Irwin's a good man with the title, as you now know. And so when Halloween came along, you know, John loved working with friends, and so he turned to me and asked me if I could design a movie, art direct and design a movie. And I said, oh, hell yeah, sure. Well, the less you know, the more confident you can be in your answer. And so I just shrugged my shoulders and said, yeah, and kind of learned on the job. But that's how I got it.
If we're going in chronological order, I'm not sure. Well, maybe I mean that's in terms of that. But my job on the show was limited to, as you know, the right man in a rubber mask. So, but okay, yeah, that's what I'm going to get to. But like Tommy, I knew John before his career took off, but not as far back as him. I grew up in Los Angeles and met him when we were all at the University of Southern California. We did shorts together. had a lot of fun. We sang together, had vanity, rock and roll groups. Always, that was really our first love. And but when John started to do his movies, I would go back. And the first one, Dark Star, which was started off as a short at film school. I worked in the background of that movie. And then when he made it into a feature, I went to help him and Dan O'Bannon work on that. And then went off, to try to do my own movies.
I want to interject that Nick, those who know Dark Star, remember the beach ball alien creature. Nick played the feet of the beach ball. And to be honest with you, I think that John looked upon him as kind of his lucky charm, and so naturally turned to him to play the immortal part of the shape.
Just jumping to that came about because they were really shooting this. Part of where they were shooting was in Hollywood, which was a couple of miles or less from where I live. And I said, you know what? It's going to be so convenient for me to be on this set, watch you shoot, watch the crew. I want to be a director. Let me hang around. He said, okay, we can ask them and we'll do it the whole time. So some things are done, with all kinds of creative reasons in mind. Some things are just done out of luck, and that's why I'm here 40 years later. Hey,
I was a water poo. How things started and all that sort of stuff. David, let's get to you, because you're pretty much the first person we see in Hollywood as Judith's boyfriend. And talk about the fact that your speediness, as an actor, not David's, Judith's boyfriend's speediness, it's kind of all your fault, because if you just took your time, man, there would be no murder.
Well, I got the part by knowing Tommy very well. Greg Stearns, is that correct? So that's how I got the part, which is how you get a lot of parts in Hollywood, is knowing the right people on. It's kind of funny, it was the smallest part I ever had, and it's the only part I remember for. But it was cool. It was a lot of fun. Nancy Ives was one of my good friends as well. So, yeah, Nancy Lynn was too young. So, I was just delighted to be in the film with all my friends. Thanks all. Thank you all for coming.
And then, of course, we reveal you, sir, as the killer, as young Michael. You were obviously not the cameraman. Did you? How much were you just involved in on the fan bag, or did you get to kind of walk through them with them? Or?
No, I was just involved in that one scene where my mask was pulled off. When I auditioned, I had 2 auditions for that role. The first one I auditioned for Tommy. Then I had a callback, and I didn't do any reading. They just asked me to make a scary face. And I think the next day they said, you got the role for Halloween. And we filmed it on a Friday. I got there in the morning, and we waited until dark to start shooting it. They didn't ask me, once it got dark and started filming, put on the clown suit, mask. I just remember doing a bunch of takes. I didn't have to do a scary face. They just told me to step up a blank stare and then, just straight ahead. On the photos, it looks like I'm looking at the camera, but I don't remember looking straight at the camera. I just remember looking straight ahead. Did a bunch of takes. That plastic mask with the rubber band was very painful. Coming off, my hair got longer than planned. And we did numerous takes. 45 minutes later, we got a shot, and that was it.
Do you remember, around what time were you aware that you're like, oh shit, I played Michael Myers? Like, that's what it was. Like, was it
Yeah, we went to go see it, but we actually left, I don't know, 2/3 into it, because my sister got really scared. So my dad's like, I didn't get to see the entire movie until like a year later when it came out of cable, and back then it was called, they were on TV, and that's when I finally saw the full thing and saw lots where Michael Myers did that. And 81 was and from there.
You know,
They didn't let me do that. I gave it back to the costume designer.
That bravura scene that opens the movie was the last day of shooting. On our schedule were 2 shots, and 2 shots only. One was this magnificent glide shot through the house and up and commit the murder and come back down and go outside and come up to the parents. And the other shot was the crane shot full back, which was the last, I think we shot that after the big shot. But that big shot took us all day to prepare for. It was so elaborate and really magnificent fun. There was a caravan of people around the camera. Ray Stella was operating the glide camera. Dean was there, I think, operating a light that you would dim up and down according to the situation. Deborah was along in a clown suit for the kid hand, reaching into the drawer. There was at least one other lighting person with a flag, a black rectangle thing, that certain places you needed to watch out for the camera shadow. I was along with a bucket of blood and a paintbrush to splash on the victim at the right moment. So it was this amazing little caravan going along with the camera. And of course, you still have to go through a regular sized doorway, you know, to get to the next room and so forth. The house had been starring as the nasty old house in the movie for the most part, but in this particular scene, of course, it had to be the nice, you know, pretty nice looking house, all freshly painted. And if you could have been there and seen it, you would have seen low budget movie, $300,000. If you panned the camera to the right or the left, no more wallpaper, no more paint job. It was the old house, just for the camera that all this stuff was done. We had lighting guys lined up, taking care of business for looking through the window at the scene when the 2 lovebirds are downstairs, and it looks all beautifully lit. Then you go around the back, come through the kitchen. In the meantime, you can hear people jumping through windows, relighting, while this camera's rolling, while the scene's going on, because we've got to go back through that room from a different angle, go upstairs, kill the young lady, and come back downstairs and relight a third time to make sure we could see out the door without seeing any light stands or you know, movie stuff. So it was, sound, I had forgot there was a moon guy along, and it was, I wish we could have filmed the filming of that shot, because it was really something. We prepared all day. It took about 3 takes. I think in the movie we used all 3 takes with just little, you don't really notice, I hope, but it looks like one big long take, but it was really 3 different shots combined together. And that opened my eyes to just what fun you could have with a shot, a wonder directors and DPs call it. But a hell of a thing we did that day.
The camera support system, the Paraglide or the Steadicam, was relatively new, and they had used it for like one shot in Bound for Glory and one for Rocky and a couple others. that was the most elaborate panic-like Steadicam shot that had been done up to that point. So it was a groundbreaking moment for film, and it appeared there in Hollywood. No, the guy who did the Steadicam. Actually, Ray and I traded off different takes, but Ray was my camera assistant and then operator ever since I started, so the very first. So Ray and I had a relationship, and he and I trained on that, and we would go to the camera company and we would put it on and walk around the hallways and the parking lot in order to learn how to use it. So it was a unique, sort of groundbreaking moment in the history of film.
What I remember most when I came out one night, what was late in the afternoon, was watching, I don't know which of you guys were doing it, with a big basket of phony leaves, throwing them in front of the lens to make it look like fall. And for the most part, they made the movie look like fall. It really looked like a Midwestern, or in this case, fall. There's only one glitch in the movie, and I don't know how many people know about it. You guys probably know about it. There was one palm tree. But you know, I never noticed it for years until somebody pointed it out to me. I mean, this crew, this happy band of brigands, the starving bunch, would-be filmmakers who slept on the floor all night. They never left the set. I don't even know if we paid them any, I don't know if we give any food. I don't remember that. But
bad McDonald's.
That's right. A lot of McDonald's, I will say that. But I just wanted to say something about that because I've never experienced it in my life after that time. This was a perfect confluence of events where nothing went wrong, at least that I know about. Everything seemed to work perfectly. The harmony and the love that they all seemed to have for the project and for each other was evident all the time. I would go out there as the titular producer. Deborah Hill, by the way, we haven't mentioned Deborah Hill. Deborah Hill, when John wanted to make this movie with me, he said, I want Deborah Hill to produce. He was living with Deborah Hill. I said, that's what you want. Hire Deborah Hill. I didn't know anything about her. I didn't care. But Deborah turned out to be a unique talent in her way and an incredibly resourceful, hard worker. So when you went out there and you saw Deborah and PJ and all these people having a great time, even though they were working, and I'm sure PJ will tell you about that, even though they were working so hard, and then my son was in the movie, and he could come up with details about everything. So I would go out there, and after about the fourth or fifth night that I went, it was 8 nights, I hate shooting, I couldn't believe it. It was all so beautiful. Everything was working so perfectly, and that continued through the shoot, through the campaign to develop the movie, the selling of the movie, the fact that the critics found the movie, and here we are 40 years later.
I was present during this, but it may be a little helpful. It was John's, post-training weekend for a lot of people. He was invited to the USC Film School to screen it for the students because it was, like one of theirs had made a regular feature. So we ran the movie, and then we sat on the stage, and I think you were there, right, John? Oh, he doesn't remember this. Good. No. But I saw him there, but maybe I was imagining. Anyway, it was myself and Deborah and John, and I thought Tommy and somebody else. And we got up on the stage, and they asked questions, these students. So what was it like making your first movie? Oh, that scene with the thing, how did you do it, and so forth. All of the usual student film questions, because they were curious about this movie that you know, a film student had made. And one of the guys raised his hand and said, but why did you make this movie? Why would you make a movie like this? And we looked at each other and thought, you know, well, we made a movie, but that was an idea. But I think it was Deborah who said, well, you know, what we wanted to do was put an effort into it, to work as a cohesive unit behind a single idea, so that we were all working to make a film as if it would become a classic. And this guy said, wait a second. You think this piece of crap will be a classic? You people are deluding yourselves. He got up and left. I wonder where he is now.
I just want to say a word about leaves and fans and trying to make Los Angeles in the springtime look like the Midwest in the fall. We all accepted the fact that we were not going to get what it really looks like there, which is magnificent color display on the trees and stuff. We let go of that right quick. But we did figure we can do brown leaves and gloom and moodiness and set a tone that is appropriate for a scary movie. Live oak trees don't grow in the Midwest, but South Pasadena provided us with a lot of live oak trees, as did Orange Grove Avenue in Hollywood, that set a mood. But still, how are you going to do autumn, Halloween? There wasn't a leaf inside. Certainly not a brown leaf or a yellow leaf. So we had to go down to this decorator place where, you know, they sell pussy willow buds and things that decorators use to jazz up a house for sale or whatever. And they did, in the corner, they had these stalks of brown leaves, autumn leaves. And they were not cheap. So we bought as many sticks of those as we could afford, broke off the leaves, and put them in garbage bags. They were amounted to about 2 or maybe 3 garbage bags full. And you better believe those things, after every take, we rake them up and put them in those bags again for the next take, because they were like gold.
They're expensive, you idiot.
Yeah, they were. So the rest, as Erwin was pointing out, was shooting around palm trees, mostly other kind of exotic Southern California things that did not look like the Midwest. And we were pretty successful with a couple of pickups. I kept thinking maybe we could put these shrouds that look like tree trunks, you know, made up of paper mache or something. And on the $600,000 version of the movie, we would have done it, but it wasn't meant to be. But pumpkins? Hell no. In Los Angeles in the spring, we had to find gourds that were green that looked vaguely like pumpkins and spray paint them orange. So that was kind of our adventure in the Arden Park.
I want to know about the real sex scene. You know, she's sitting right here. We have the two people. I want to know about the sex scene. You see what I did your life?
I don't know. It's completely natural and fun, and I helped him choose his job because he asked me to.
I'm curious about that.
Yeah, he asked. Well, after I auditioned, which I've told this many times before that you never get to audition with a director, but I did. He offered me the job on the spot, which is also totally unusual.
too enthusiastic at first. And
I remember that.
tried to say, well, how to say this?
Tone it down.
Tone it down. Not enough brisk. Because it was being filmed from the back. I guess I was trying to be very realistic. And maybe not that realistic, so maybe just a little writhing and
We have a lot of sheet motion.
But you know what was good was, I thought they were very thoughtful about how comfortable we were.
Oh,
And
it was only Dean and Deborah and John and the sound guy.
waited till my last day on set,
No, I didn't
so
know
we
that.
could do it.
Last day.
We had time to build some sort of rapport and
Yeah.
feel more comfortable with each other. So.
Those things, like I said, are very awesome. Definitely had a good time. And, we missed the whole part when he comes back up with the sheet over his head.
Missed the good part.
We were hung up in the
My glasses, I've said this to people today because I have my glasses with me that I wore on the film. And I always say that my glasses worked longer than I did. My glasses worked like 2 extra days. So,
What about those glasses? I don't remember you having them at the audition.
QnA? Yeah, where is that extra money? Yeah. Actually, the shirt was mine, and the glasses were mine.
So you brought them as part of your character. You thought
Those
of
were
that.
yours too, yeah. So,
And whose idea was it to put them on the sheet?
well, because they told me when I told the story too, that John wanted me to wear black Ray-Bans back, Wayfarers, and I thought they were so uncool in 1978, so I had these terrible glasses, and I said, can I wear my own glasses? Thought I was really cool or something, and he said, yeah, okay. So he said, but if you do, they've got to stay with us till we're finished shooting, so that's what happened.
And they're still with him today.
That's right. Well, he deserved it. But yeah. Well, for me, it started as a big surprise because I was starting out trying to act, and I went to my first big movie audition, and so I went to this audition, in Hollywood, and I remember, I think I met John, I think I met Deborah, and I'm here being a douchebag bully for the week, and I really worked on it, and I did it, and I got the part, and being a little young and naive, when I was home, and I met my dad, I said, I got this part, and I'm really, really excited. Oh, what a coincidence. I'm the producer, so my first learning experience, it really, but it was, we had, like everyone was saying, it was an amazing time, and I remember it was great getting the board. I remember that damn board took about 5 or 6 hours to find the break. We cut the chainsaw, we almost put a stick of dynamite in that thing, and no matter how many times I threw it in, I did, but it didn't break. But that was the frustrating part. But we had the best time. We really had a wonderful time. I think we're my same clothes too, my own clothes. But I gotta say, for me, it was kind of normal because throughout my childhood, my dad, the greatest joy he ever got was scaring the crap out of people. So I've never met anybody that would stay, in a cupboard or a closet for 45 minutes to an hour and a half just to make sure. Just to hope somebody would open it up. and I gotta tell you, I inherited that. And whenever my friends would come over, I had them sign a waiver. I had them. He would put the movie on for us. This was after the movie was out, and then outside with the knife and everything. And he was always fun, but always loved a good scare, and I inherited that. Here we are, 40 years later, still scaring. So. It looked extremely rocky when Mudville line that day. The scores from 2-4 with just an inning left to play. You won? That'd be good. I auditioned once. I don't recall. Met the casting director. Chances are I had a very good rapport with the casting director. So much so that I'm told that she asked my mother to come back inside to talk with her. Okay, so things went well from there, and I probably met with John once just to make sure. That's the story I'm told, and that sounds about right. I would say I was 11. How do you think? Yeah. Being a child actor is a traumatic experience. It's not exactly, it's an overwhelming experience because you're privileged and treated differently. It's not necessarily normal, but I was treated very well. It's overwhelming. It's a non-normal experience. I would say that. Yes, I did. Very scary. Similar story. Will simply had to leave 2/3 of the way because his sister got scared. And I recall that a friend of mine, we took a friend of ours to see it premiere. And the next day, his mother called my mother because he was scared he saw a hand in the window. So that's, it was very scary to a lot of people early on. I've heard this before. Some young lady told me that the first time she saw the movie, she had to pick up her sister so they could drive the boyfriend home. She did not want to drive from the boyfriend's house back to her house alone. And the idea of people looking in their cars, I've heard that too. So this had a very powerful effect on the visual and musical overture, and the opening credits remind me of like a throwback to a Saul past. Everything you need to know is in that first 2.5 minutes. Music, visuals, nice two opening prologues that set up the basic story, which basically goes from the middle of things all the way to the end, connected in a 24-hour period. So it's classic Aristotelian. Very few locations, very few characters, not too much told simply and told well. Less is more. I like seeing movies made with single camera because then I have to focus on the actors. Extra cameras are like, well, now we can show more visuals, splash, it's bad Jackson Hall. It's just too much video everywhere. I'd rather see a simple story told simply with characters that I like, that I get to know, that I feel connected to, moving on from one scene to the other logically, and ending with a conclusion that twists everything around what was obviously going to happen anyway. Okay.
But, okay, good. Well, I should be a teenager and really know how to smoke, I think. So But, yeah, I was just, you know, like I said, you know, like I said, being probably filling in on the technical aspects, but I just remember our camaraderie, that being that we didn't even know each other, and yet really trusting to be two girls who are best friends and walking around and having to get all of this dialogue and me reading and singing Bonnie Graham and he's cute and all of that. It seemed to me like one continuous take. I don't remember, obviously it was cut up and close-ups and things like that, but I just think it played so well, and it really gives you a very good idea of the differences between the movie girls' personalities and characters, just in that one scene alone. I just love that about that particular scene.
Well, the Panaglide, or the Steadicam is now, has become just a ubiquitous tool that every TV show has got long moving shots through, you know, hospital corridors while they talk, the courtrooms and whatever. At the time that hadn't been done, people hadn't really caught on to the Steadicam. And it cost more money. A lot of times you had to bring in a special operator who knew how to wear the which is why Ray and I learned how to do it ourselves, because we wanted to save everyone some money. Yeah, or ours. So John had this idea that he would use it for these long tracking shots, which, as I say now, you see them all the time. It's easy to look back at a film like that and say, oh, no. They were just doing everything they do on the TV show now. Well, we were sort of inventing it. John was certainly inventing it as a technique for storytelling with, for instance, that scene when the girls were walking along. And it was heavy. It was much heavier than they are now. You know, as a matter of fact, a couple of films later, when I was doing a lot of, you know, Steadicam work in the forest for a low-budget movie, I ended up with a hernia, and I had to have it repaired. And I had to go to the hospital. How much of the story do you want? So it was a unique tool, and oh yeah, no, scripts, you know, loved it that they didn't have to do a lot of work. So it was a unique tool used for the first time extensively. And at the time, because it was expensive, very often I would go to a film afterwards and say, so here's the idea, we'd like to use this Steadicam for the sequence in the hospital and whatever and stuff. And the production manager would say, Steadicam. He'd look through the budget, Steadicam. So I don't see it listed here. So obviously we can't afford it. Then I said, well, you should list it. Oh, no, why do you need that? We have grips. Well, now every budget includes carrying a Steadicam for most of the show or all of the show. It's become such an important tool. So, you know, Halloween was one of those that was groundbreaking in many ways, technically, story-wise, visually, acting. You know, I remember John talking to somebody, might have been you, and saying, you know, I loved His Girl Friday with, who was it, Gary Grant, Rosalind Russell. Dialogue, fast, overlap. Don't wait for the other person to stop talking. Start talking immediately, but just like in real life. As a result, you know, he would say to the girls, faster or overlap or talking, and PJ would have to make up something while somebody else was saying something, you know, significant. So it stylistically, you know, it was very sort of groundbreaking with visually, performance-wise, everything. And it's kind of underestimated, I think, because it was ahead of its time compared to, you know, started the horror trend. So it was fun to be a part of.
And it makes everything look so natural. That was the thing that I thought when I first saw him. Wow, it really looks like he was following us. And it was as if Michael Myers, which he was, looking at us from his car. So it gave that effect as well. And I just really was impressed by it. As I remember just sort of jumping up and down. Well, I mean, I hadn't been nothing about towns or anything, but that was just very exciting to me to say.
Well, just something that just jogged my memory because he says it was groundbreaking. And jumping ahead, when we opened the film, and kind of legendary now, but we opened the film in one day in Kansas City, and that was by design because I wasn't sure what the critics would give us being the movie, and I thought if we opened in Kansas City and the movie didn't do well, I could bury reviews and start another idea, another approach. Well, as it turned out, we didn't need much of a campaign because the word of mouth was instantaneous. As a matter of fact, you might enjoy hearing this. One of the fellows that came up today to have something signed said, I was in the audience in Kansas City at that first show, and he had a photograph of the staircase. And he said, I was there, and I went home, and I phoned everybody I knew, and the next day in school I told everybody, it was like just proof what I always tell people, you know. But further along, so we were very careful about how we marketed the movie, how they say marketing, those days were distributed movies, because I didn't want to wave our hands and say, look at us, what a great movie we have. My thought was, let's back in and let the critics discover the movie. And that's exactly what happened. Sister Lieber, who saw the picture of Chicago before anybody ever saw it, decided to appropriate it for themselves, and they went nuts and told John Connors is the new Hitchcock, and the movie's brilliant and it's incredible. And then Andrew Saris of the Village Voice, these were all, you know, avant-garde kind of critics. And I'll never forget what they said, and I'll end with that. He doesn't know what he has, meaning me. We know that it's a great movie. So that's exactly what I want to do. They sold it back to us.
In case you didn't hear that, my first shot as the Shake. I remember it, and it could be just my memory, which was pretty bad, that it was an evening shot, and it was Michael walking across the street. So,
I don't think that's correct.
that's what I said. It's wrong. I heard it in my mind, but it wasn't correct.
See, I believe the first actual shot of the movie was Laurie crossing and meeting with Thomas, the first shot of the first day. And then we walked over to the Myers house. Okay? So you see the shots over the shoulder of Nick first, and then maybe you see Nick's, the other shot over the shoulder, and then I walk on, and Jamie keeps on walking and starts singing. So the first shots of Nick were at the house on the first day where I met with Laurie. And then we went over to the school. And that's where we did the school shot, and that's where Mickey runs into Nick. And that's my first day. And that's what we did.
See, I don't know.
Okay?
Well, one of the first shots was me walking across the street at night, because it was the first time I remember asking John, okay, I'm going to start doing this character, and I'm walking, and what do you want? You didn't tell me anything, and now suddenly I'm about to shoot something, and I'm going to be portraying this character, and so he looked at me kind of funny when I asked him that, and he said, just walk across the street, stop bothering me. But that's kind of, don't worry about it, it'll be fine. So, which did, you know, so it did work into the friendship that the bond that we had. So you could just tell somebody, just shut up and do the work. And it was about obviously. Now, since then, John has mentioned, I know in other interviews that he he liked the way I walked, and so maybe there was just some truth to that, that he saw the way I walked and he didn't want anything other than whatever that natural stride was.
Nick won't say it, but he grew up in a household. His dad was a very famous choreographer and dancer, and although Nick does it unconsciously, he has a great, smooth, groove walk.
What I remember is supposedly they could only keep hanging on a wall for 2 minutes, or the harness would crush my pelvis, which gave me a real sense of confidence. So I was probably hoping that he would yell cut, is what I was probably. But I don't really, you never, of course, you don't think that's going to be iconic, that moment in time. So I don't really remember that much. I don't remember it being a big deal. Obviously it was, but. I know that was terrifying. The only part of filming that was terrifying, opening that door and having you rush out. I mean, that really felt, I didn't have to perform there. That was like, what the hell's going on here? So yeah, but yeah.
I had a hand in the head tilt. I was in the cutting room as well, so I was seeing these things as an editor might see them. And it just crossed my mind that we could add an extra layer to the shape if it isn't just that he goes and kills somebody, but he admires his own work. Now that's really chilling. That's horrible. And it was very fun in the, I asked John, I was sitting on it a long time. No, I was crushing it. No, but just stay with him a while before you cut. And we sat in the cutting room afterwards watching that scene, just debating about just how long can we hold this? How far can you take it and it still be horrifying and not annoying? Just horrifying that this guy standing there checking it out.
I've always wondered.
Nick kind of, I think you were encouraged to just,
Yeah, the way I remember it is I was just doing the scene and John was saying, now tilt your head to the right, tilt your head to the left. I didn't particularly know what he was doing, frankly. So the conversation with Tommy and John probably happened before that, just kind of and then set the mood for the scene itself. So yeah, again, it's one of these things, for someone that does this kind of work, at least for me, you're in a mask and you're not, you're kind of one enclosed and not really, you are part of the scene, obviously, but you're puppeteered by the director, in a sense. He can have a better sense of how you're coming on.
I just always wondered about the knife. How is that chosen? Like, that knife's so small. There's no human way that knife could hold a person up. The knife's that big, and so am I. But I mean, I wonder, did you just go, okay, then we're just going to pretend that that's going to work in life, or?
There's so many circumstances in the movies, not just our movie, but all movies, where that's not real, that couldn't possibly happen. You don't care in the moment. Those are the questions that Alfred Hitchcock called refrigerator questions. You're watching the movie, you dig it, you're all absorbed, and then the movie's over. You go home, and you rummage around in the refrigerator for a snack, and you go, wait a minute. But it's too late at that point. You already bought your ticket, so think anything you like. Did you go, of course, I thought, no, we didn't consider it. ideal size for the knife. Too big, it looks stupid. Too small, it looks wicked.
Yeah.
We found the size that worked, and then it had to apply to everything.
Because I don't ever remember anyone saying, "Okay, this couldn't possibly happen, but we're gonna stick it under your." That's true.
My refrigerator moment in the movie was, did they have driver's education and sanitariums?
Credibility in movies. I mean, the first time I saw the movie, we screened the movie to a large audience in New York City. It must have been 1,000 people. And I was concerned because, actually it was in Brentwood we're talking about. It was in Westwood. We filmed it for 1,000 people, and many of them college students, and it was a big risk because we wanted to try it out for a real serious audience of young people. And this was the worst test you could give because these were all sophisticated UCLA kids, graduates, and they're pretty tough critics. And halfway through the movie, they started to laugh and snicker, and I started slumping in my chair because I thought, oh my God, what have we got here? And as we went along, they started to laugh, scream, and as the movie reached its fever pitch, and Laurie Strode drops the knife for the 14th time, somebody in the rear yelled out, "You dumb bitch, you deserve to die." But what I found out was, and this happened time and again, that laughter, that tittering, that was relief of tension. They were so involved, they were totally, the fourth wall had been reached. They were in that movie. They were experiencing that terror. So I learned after a while to disregard that you'll see that today in certain audiences, they laugh out with release. But the point I was starting to make is that credibility is what you make. You make a movie, you create an illusion. And if you create that illusion properly, you can get away with just about anything.
I want to say one of the greatest gifts John gave me was an understanding off of what Irwin is saying of how powerful humor is in a scary movie. I had an unfortunate experience on another picture when the guy I answered to didn't get it about humor. I could not work any humorous scenes in when it's the greatest tool to get everybody relaxed again. So you go again and you get the roller coaster ride going. But John knew innately that humor was his best friend, and he's got a peculiar sense of humor, but it's a great lesson for me. It's just he makes sure there are plenty of laughs even if the movie is dead serious.
So I'm going to turn it over to you guys in a second, but first up, I just had somebody who wanted to tell our cast and crew something. Jeff, where you at?
Hi, my name is Joseph, and everybody met me last July. I was the person that thanked Jamie Lee Curtis for saving my life at Comic-Con. To make a long story short, for the people who didn't know, I was in a house in Northern California about 3 or 4 years ago. Someone had cut the phone cords, and a guy was running around outside the house with a knife, and I freaked out. And the only thought that went through my mind was, well, what would Jamie Lee Curtis do? Our dog Duchess had picked up these knitting needles and knitting my neck and thrown them away, so I grabbed them out of the trash. And I saw the guy with the knife on one side of the house. I ran out the door, went running down to the neighbor, screaming my brains out like Jamie Lee Curtis did. And banging on the door like crazy, let me in, let me in. And the neighbors are like, what do you got in your hand? I said, they're just knitting needles. And they said, not with those knitting needles, we're not going to let you in our house. And like I told Jamie, I said, to make a long story short, I'm here today because of the way the how she portrayed Laurie Strode. I'm a victor today instead of a victim. And what Jamie Lee Curtis did after was absolutely amazing. She came off the stage. She embraced me as I bawled my brains out because I knew I was in the arms of somebody who understood post-traumatic stress, who understood trauma. And if you guys are watching any of the interviews lately, that's all Jamie Lee Curtis is talking about is trauma. This is a movie. The first one set up a person who was traumatized, and I guess the new one's going to tell us what to do to fight against it. And it was kind of funny because after we got done hugging, all of a sudden I realized I'm standing next to Jamie Lee Curtis. Can I have your picture? And then she looked at me, she goes, I think they got a couple. I didn't realize all the cameras that were pointed on us. And you guys know, if you guys are looking on it, I mean, it went to England, it went to the Washington Post, New York Post, New York Times, LA, I mean, everywhere. And I couldn't leave Hall H for 2.5 hours because I was approached by countless men who have been in situations where they have been victimized, where they have been raped, where they have been molested. The reason I'm talking about right now is to the cast. Thank God you guys made this movie, because I'm alive. And I know everyone makes movies and they're fun. And we don't know how the art that you guys put out there is. I'm sorry, I didn't follow the Linda and Bob handbook because there's no way I would have made it. Thank God you guys made the movie, because that was the only thought that was in my head at the time that saved my life. And then, I don't know if you guys saw the View last Monday. Over 200,000 kids when they re-showed her and I at Comic-Con. So that kind of tells you a little bit of what this new movie could do. But I really wanted to do what I did with Jamie, which was thank you guys so much for making this movie. From the bottom of my heart. And you need to know, I got stopped by a couple hundred people yesterday. I don't know what today was interesting. But I got stopped by a couple hundred people yesterday. Most of the men, again, who were telling me of how they had been in situations where they had been molested, or they have been threatened. Men don't talk about it because they don't want to be seen as weak. They don't want to be seen as emotional. And I'm hearing what Jamie Lee Curtis is saying is to open up and talk. So I didn't want to get really super serious. I guess I did get super serious. But thank you. Thank you to the entire cast up there. What this next book is going to do, because you know what, I think it just affected me. I met somebody who said that Andy Cobrick, is that the right name? From The Fog, how that character helped him through his parents' divorce. I don't know, guys. Just God bless you and thank you for making this film. Thank you.
Hi guys, thanks for being here. My name is Brian from Illinois. My question is for Tommy, and maybe Erwin might be able to answer this as well. Tommy, you said that you made at least 3, but no more than 5 of the now infamous Michael Myers masks. We all know that one of them was kept by Deborah Hill and later used in Halloween 2. Dick Warlock kept it. Does anyone know what happened to the other 2 to 4 masks that you created?
No.
Erwin, any insight into that? Do you know what happened to any of the other Michael Myers masks that were created for the original film?
I knew nothing about the Michael Myers mask. All I know is I came to the set and they had this mask on. They told me it was a William Shatner mask, but they had modified, and I was transfixed. I was scared. It was that. I mean, that was that moment. When how you guys ever figured out? Because you had other choices. I remember clowns, all kinds of things. But the simplicity of that mask was just so frightening. I don't think I ever saw it on the grocery. That was the right one. I never saw it.
Thanks, guys. Just so you know, I did keep one of the masks, and I don't have it. No, and I was given one after the show, and when they started doing Halloween 2, I guess they had displaced whatever other masks there had been created, and Deborah Hill came to me and asked if she could have it so they could help the designer match, because they were having problems, the way I remember. And she took it and never gave it back.
Hello, everybody. There's so many scenes from the original movie I love so much, but one as a kid that I really was terrified by, of course, is the Ghost Bob reveal. And I'm wondering, Nick, have you had the Ghost Bob glasses on since shooting that scene? And if not, would you mind putting them on? I mean, it's and this is big, everybody. It's the first time in 40 years. There it is. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Hey, how's it going? My question's for Nick. I was wondering if you cast Lance Guest and Dano clearly in The Last Starfighter because they worked on Halloween 2 and Halloween 3, or is that just a coincidence that you guys were all in the same film together? And also, what's the update on The Last Starfighter 2?
No, it was a total coincidence. Lance came in, I don't recall, when was Halloween 2 shot? Oh, okay, so Lance would have been in it, but I don't think I even, there was no connection in terms of at least my memory of Lance having been in the movie, and therefore that's a good idea to have him come in. He just was one of the best young actors that I saw. As far as Dan is concerned, and in Tommy's movie, I knew of him because I went to school with his daughter. So I just knew him. I remember seeing a lot of his work, and he's just a tremendous actor. But no, basically, the short answer is it was a total coincidence. Oh, and there's always rumors about The Last Starfighter getting another shot. And at the moment, the writer has now gotten the rights back to it. So he has a partner named Gary Whitta who wrote Return of the what's this one that was just done? One of the Star Wars ones. Which one? Last Jedi. Okay. Anyways, and so they're going to try to mount and do another run it down. But thank you, guys.
Hi, I always thought that obviously the soundtrack was phenomenal and the cast was amazing, but the locations in the first film I thought were just as important. I always wondered, how did you guys go about driving around and just picking those locations? And we all know that in classic now. What is that thought process with yourself? Do you just see a spot that looks right? Go with it.
Well, you start out just, you've got this giant city, and you go, oh, where can we go? One of the associate producers, a woman named Cool Lusby, and I drove around, and she took me to the orphanage where she grew up. And it was down south of South Pasadena, and on our way back, we started through Pasadena, and everywhere I looked, I'm like, geez, this is pretty good. Let's drive around some more. And basically, South Pasadena was our savior. We shot an awful lot of the movie there. Would have shot the street shots there, the houses. We had those locations locked down, but I won't go through the long story, but I blew that location at being an amateur. And Deborah rescued us by finding places on Orange Grove Boulevard in Hollywood. But South Pasadena, we stumbled on it fairly quickly and went from there.
Thank you.
any lore? And if so, can you tell us a little bit about it?
Well, remember, it's a low-budget movie, and so we didn't have a lot of leeway. There's one scene that we reshot. John didn't like the way it looked. It was a nice testimonial to his determination to have, first-class looking movie. That movie looks 10 times the budget. And the scene actually was up in Laurie's bedroom, I think it was. Fairly short scene, and I think she's talking on the telephone to her buddy Annie. But no, there were no superfluous scenes. As a matter of fact, we were manufacturing scenes out of nothing. The entire sequence at the end, when we go throughout the neighborhood, those were not planned shots. Those were just before an act, pre-slate and post-slate grabs from existing shots that had other purposes, and fortunately the assistant cameraman was well trained and he kept it in focus. So we had something to work with. Several of those montage shots were just manufactured out of nothing.
Yeah, and actually, to that point, very often I would tell the camera assistant or camera operator who turns the camera on and off, always run the camera for quite a while before they put the sleeve in. And then when the director yells cut, always run it for at least 5 seconds afterwards, because so often the director will be excited to go cut. And that just after the last syllable, and the other was kind of, a moment of directing. But so it's amazing how often that kind of thing goes.
Absolutely. And also on Dean's point, there was a peculiar light that we used, Dean used, called an HMI, and provided a lot of night light for us. And oddly enough, there was a strange little flicker that would appear intermittently, and it was just an anomaly, an electronic anomaly of some sort that was introduced. And at first we were also upset, especially Dean, I think. It's like, oh no, there's a kind of a modulation in the light. It was very slow. And at some point we woke up and went, oh no, we meant that. That's intentional. That's for effect. And it looked cool, but a beautiful accident to Irwin's point, another thing that just went right for us.
One thing everybody seems to forget that they don't forget that it was a very low budget picture. But what should be noted is that in addition to being a very limited budget, a great majority of the film was shot at night, which adds to the problem, which really makes it more difficult in your time setup, so that you don't have the time to do things, to actually shoot, because you're spending all that time lighting, am I right, Dave? So just, well, animal lenses, which I was surprised, quite frankly, when you guys told me you were going to use them. I didn't think we could fit it into the budget. I did that. I expected we wouldn't have that. But I'm just tooting Dean's horn, because night shooting is problematic in its own right. And how much would you say on a percent basis was shot at night?
I would estimate too much. But, yeah. So, no, one of the things that the movie required was nights, especially exteriors. And with film or with digital, you can't see anything at night unless there's a light. And that time we had to have lights on everything, all the way down the street for the trees to be able to see it. So I have to say we had a very diligent crew, electrical crew. Guys would really run go in and ask the old lady, oh, is it okay if we put a light in your yard to light the trees and, you know, that kind of stuff. So there was a lot of diligence, but, you know, clever use of the small amount of equipment that Irwin would let us have. I mean, that we ordered.
I should have listened to my wife. She wanted to mortgage my house and pay for the movie and own the whole thing.
No, you know, when we were shooting with film, and now we've got digital, so you can see on the monitor exactly what you're shooting. But in those days, you had to take the word of the camera operator, and you had to stand and watch next to the camera to make sure you got it. So they were all kind of...
Join the A Buck a Month Club and help support my channel on Patreon. Thank you to my current patrons, Kevin Smythe, Orc145626, B-Movie Mike, Robert Sobel, Turi Delamore, Stephen Flanagan, Lori Holt, Mitch Odell, Farron Sutton, Craig Farrand, Jeremiah Lambert, Grindhouse Grotto, Joseph Charlesworth, Chris Earls, Derek Jana, Demon Waffles, Tim Williams, Stone Gassman, Zachary Barton, Mr. Bibby 86, James Welch, Eli Geisler, Jeff Overing, Cliff Hostetter, Kyle McGuire, Jay the Stingray, Lauren Dixon, and Travis Davis. Say hello to the internet, Jeremy.
Hello to the internet.